Hey folks! This time on Doctor Who Reviews, we are talking about the Zygon Invasion, originally titled Invasion of the Zygons, but for whatever reason they changed it prior to airing. And I'm only joined by the one guest this week.
The Ambassadors to Death is an underrated episode of Season 7 of Doctor Who. Hello, I'm FreezingInferno.
You're just attempting to say something controversial every time we have one of these introductions, aren't you? That's like your goal.
Yeah, well, I could have said Time in the Rani is a campy masterpiece.
We're not going to go there. So yeah, the Zygon Invasion then. This was very interesting, and it's kind of tricky to review, actually. But we're going to do our best, and we're going to change up the format somewhat, because Kat, who's not here, unfortunately, she made a very good point that we were having too many instances where we were saying, we can't talk about this until we talk about the ending.
Everything's like intertwined.
Yeah,
because
kind of derailing us. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through a brief synopsis of the plot, and then talk about the characters and the ending. And hopefully people will be fine with that, and if not, well, sorry, you're not in charge here, but...
Wow, harsh.
I mean it in good faith. I mean it in good faith. So anyway.
All right, take it away, Wikipedia.
Or my memory. So we open up with confirmation that this is indeed a follow-on to Day of the Doctor. And once upon a time there were 3 Doctors, 2 Osgoods, and it basically just shows that playing out again. Then the 2 Osgoods sit down in front of a camera, and they talk about this Osgood box. And about the peace between Zygon and human, and how the Zygons aren't really evil, and lots of philosophical stuff like every race is both peaceful and warlike, and if the ceasefire breaks down, then here's the Osgood box, and you better hope we don't use this because something terrible is going to happen. But we don't know what.
Also, one of the Osgoods is wearing Sylvester McCoy's question mark jumper. I like that.
Yeah, Kat pointed this out to me, and she's like, "You're going to freak when you hear this, you see this," and I was like, "I'm not going to tell him. I'm not going to tell him. I can't do that."
Nobody told me. I'm glad you didn't tell me. That's good.
Yeah, it's nice to be surprised, isn't it?
I'm just waiting for another Osgood to wear the coat. That's
oh God. Anyway, there were 2 Osgoods. Then, of course, one got killed in Death in Heaven, and then the remaining Osgood is holed up in some place in New Mexico, and then gets kidnapped by Zygons, and then that's basically the end of the intro sequence. Apart from the Doctor playing guitar again.
Amazing Grace. It's starting to become... I noticed Kachiri, his criticism of the sonic sunglasses, I'm not harping on him for the glasses. I'm just saying that one of his criticisms was that Peter Capaldi didn't have a gimmick. Well, I think the guitar is quickly becoming his gimmick now.
I do think they may be overusing the guitar a little bit. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we go from that, and obviously to the credits, and the screen that says Nightmare Scenario from Osgood, to a park, where the Doctor is taking out what he calls the most dangerous creatures in the universe. Rather amusingly, it turns out to be 2 little girls. Jemima and Claudette. They were actually named, but they serve little consequence to the plot, because they get themselves kidnapped, and then Clara shows up, and there's some weird scene with another boy. Was he even named?
Sandeep.
Thank you. Yeah, there's something odd going on with his parents.
For a second when I saw him, I thought it was the little, Middle Eastern child that Danny let come back to life.
No. Can we not mention that, please?
Oh, come on.
It's not him.
I know it's not him.
Not all child actors look the same, Frezno. God damn it, you...
I said for a second I thought
you goddamn racist.
It's interesting you say that, considering how people have taken this episode.
That's kind of why I mentioned it.
That yet.
I just want to point out that he's not a racist at all. We are joking. But it's kind of like an ongoing gag. It's like, oh, this actor looks very similar to the other one. How dare you get them confused, you racist? They're completely different people.
Anyway, synopsis time, please. So.
Yeah, sorry. I'm derailing already.
Mm-hmm.
After a few minor scenes, Clara meets up with the Doctor and Unit. They discuss about these 2 girls who were actually, of course, Zygons. I mean, of course they were. And they were the High Commanders. And they claimed there was a revolution in the Younger Brood, but they had it under control. And then they get sent a video. Actually, they get sent 2 videos. I forgot the one with Osgood, which was very creepy, because it had terrorist vibes. It's basically a hostage video. We'll talk about more about that when we get to the politics.
Yeah.
Because that's a separate thing. Not because, we can't talk about this yet. We can, but...
I don't think the synopsis is really doing a good idea if we can't talk about this just yet. I'm just saying. But keep going.
Yeah. Thank you. there's another video sent. The two Zygon girls are forced to reveal themselves, and then they get killed horribly with this weird sort of forced lightning that comes out of the Zygons' hands now. Apparently they've joined the dark side.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure what's up with that.
I don't remember Terror of the Zygon. I was gonna watch it, but then I didn't.
I suppose it's to give them a weapon other than their shape-shifting ability, which I can kind of understand. Give them a way to kill people, to incapacitate people. Because in Day of the Doctor they didn't really do that. They just sort of turned up and then encased them in some sort of cocoon. After a few more things of no consequence happening, the team splits up, and Clara and Jack go to investigate something happening in the apartment where Sandeep was, while the doctor takes the plane, presumably a different plane, because didn't the presidential jet get destroyed in Death in Heaven? I'm pretty sure it did.
Probably crashed.
It must have done. It must have done, thinking about it, because the wings got taken off by Cybermen.
Cybermen really trashed.
And Kate goes to Truthful Consequences in New Mexico, which is where we saw Osgood earlier. The Doctor goes to this, I'm going to butcher this horribly, I think it's like Turkmenistan?
Turkmenistan?
Some kind of fictional country. Truthful Consequences does exist, by the way. That is genuine.
Really? They did not make that up? Oh,
they did not make that up, and I believe that is in a Trivial Pursuit question, because I also used to play Trivial Pursuit and try and win. But
wait a minute.
I know what you're going to say. And I'm doing a horrible job of the synopsis, but basically the team is split up. The Doctor meets up with Colonel Walsh, played by Rebecca Front, and they are going to bomb the hell out of the Zygons, who are holed up in some kind of training camp. Again, eerie parallels with the real world, but enough about that. It goes horribly wrong. The soldiers all get killed, but the Doctor does manage to save Osgood. Meanwhile, in the other two scenes, Kate encounters a survivor of Truthful Consequences. Is she even named? I don't think she is either. Officer Norlander?
I don't know. Officer Friendly.
Officer Friendly. Yeah, no. I think it's Officer Norlander. But again, another complaint I have with this episode, these characters are of so little consequence to the plot that it doesn't really matter if you don't know their names. Really. And then Jack and Clara find an underground lair, because of course they do, underneath the building, and they surmise that it's taking place all over London, so something terrible is happening with the Zygons. And they go in, and there's a bunch of pods, and this is where we get the really big revelation of the episode. And this is why Cat's format works, by the way, because we don't have to just sugarcoat this or skip over it.
Okay.
So, Walsh's men have been killed, Osgood's safe in the way. They have this Zygon survivor, prisoner, on the plane, bound up with duct tape, which amused the hell out of me. You've got this big, blobby, red lizard creature, and it's supported by duct tape. There's also an interesting scene between Osgood and the Doctor.
Oh, yeah, well, I think we can get into that a little later. It's not really synopsis.
No, I guess not, but it happens anyway. The Doctor is interrogating the Zygon, and while this is all going on, something very strange is happening with Kate and the officer, and the officer turns out to be a Zygon. But of course she did. To be honest, I think you and I saw it coming a mile away.
What a twist!
Hardly.
Well, no.
But down in the underground, there's a much bigger twist in the thing, because Jack and Clara and these unit soldiers that have turned up uncover these pods, and Clara goes to one of the pods and opens up the little viewing hatch, clears it with her hand, and it's her. Oh boy.
I wonder what that could mean.
It can only mean one thing, and I will rant and rave about this scene, positively.
It's me, Jack! It's me!
It's me all along, Jack.
All along,
oh,
Jack.
Son of a bitch.
What?
So yeah, Clara is actually not Clara.
Even my immediate family bought it.
It actually works. In the context, this works. And what sells this twist so well is Jenna Coleman's acting.
Oh, that face.
Just that turnaround.
God damn.
Holy crap, girl. Well done. Jack and the unit soldiers all get annihilated, and that's basically our cliffhanger.
Well, not quite.
Not quite, yeah. The major part of the cliffhanger, and the one that had some people's jaws on the floor, although not me, but it was pretty cool, is that Clara / Bonnie...
yeah, that's her name, Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Not
yeah, I don't know why she's
Donna.
called Bonnie. You think it might be a reference to...
Bonnie Langford?
Yes, it might be.
Hey, that brings us right back to Time in the Ronnie.
It'd be a bit... Oh, God. Halloween was last week.
Oh, God.
Anyway, the point we're making a horrible job of getting to is that Kate is now impersonated by the same Zygon that was impersonating the police officer. She contacts Bonnie and says that unit's been neutralised in North America. Bonnie then calls somebody and says the same thing's happened in the UK. Then, the cool bit, she gets a freaking rocket launcher out of unit storage, goes to a cliff edge, aims it at the doctor's plane, and hits the fire button.
Man. Oh, you forgot that she calls the doctor first.
Oh, yeah.
Before she does this.
She calls the doctor first to make sure he's on the plane, presumably. And we also get this awesome bit of dialogue where it's like, there's a Zygon invasion, so get yourself to the tower and get yourself saved. And apparently my plane's never going to land, but let's see what we can do about that. She just goes, I'm sorry, but Clara's dead. Whoa!
Oh, Jesus.
And then she blows up his plane. Well, we think she blows up his plane. We don't actually see it.
She shoots a rocket at his plane, and that is our cliffhanger.
There is some janky editing, but I think there's a reason for the janky editing, which I think will be actually a positive when we get to next
I
week.
haven't noticed any janky editing, actually, but I have my own theory on how the cliffhanger is going to be resolved.
Yeah, and I think you're probably right. So that's the synopsis, which took a lot longer than I thought it would.
Also, no trailer.
No trailer.
But the BBC continuity announcer, which I didn't hear because I'm in Canada.
Oh, this was hilarious.
Yeah,
And the Doctor will be back next week, or maybe he won't, at the earlier time of 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Props to if they're actually trying to sell the idea that he's in peril.
Oh, well.
Even though we all know, deep down, he's not in peril at all. He will survive, but the point with most cliffhanger endings in Doctor Who is not how that he survives, it's how he survives, it's how he gets out of it.
And that's why I bitched about Under the Flood, because the how got spoiled immediately.
Oh, still hate that way they did that, but
yeah. I wasn't on for Under the Flood. I don't really think I got to explain that.
So now we can get to the good stuff, the in-depth character stuff.
Oh boy! Okay,
and let us start with the Doctor.
He didn't really do that much in this one, did he?
The same can be said of a lot of characters, but
yeah,
he has his moments.
Oh, he has his moments.
I think chief amongst them for me has got to be where he boards the plane as the president of the world.
And he does the Nixon 4 more years.
Yeah, the double 2-finger salute into the air with the sunglasses on. That was funny. I know this was not meant to be a funny episode, by the by, but that was funny. But that's kind of the problem with kind of splitting the action between him and Clara and Kate. He has less to do.
I don't mind that, really. But
I don't mind that, but it does mean that he's going to have less to do.
I mean, in any other episode, it would be okay, because then Clara would be doing a lot of stuff. But I'm going to get the Clara.
I do think this episode would have benefited, just while we're getting to this, would have benefited from a few extra minutes. It was a 50-minute runtime. That was probably 45 minutes when you take out the adverts before and after. It could have done with maybe 5 more, is all I'm saying. Just to tie up a few things, but it's not a deal breaker for me.
I don't know.
But yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
I tend to agree with you about the Doctor that he didn't do as much as we've seen him. It is a first part of a 2-parter, and that chiefly serves to set up the next part, so I can forgive it for that. But we can't really talk too much about what he did. That's the sad thing.
Because he didn't really. Yeah, he what did he do? Really,
well, his main thing that he did is tie him with another character.
Okay.
In fact, tied him with several other characters. So we can't really talk about him on his own, which is a problem for reviewing purposes. But
so maybe we should move on to those other characters.
Yeah, the star of this show. Let's talk about the star of this show. For once, I'm not talking about Clara, but I am talking about Jenna Coleman.
Okay, I kind of have to complain here. All right, but not in the way you think. Evil Jenna Coleman, Bonnie. Ooh, she's great. She really is great. Don't get me wrong. But that does not change the fact that for 95% of this episode, Clara Oswald was stuck in a pod.
She was, but we don't know that she was.
Well, we don't. Yeah, but still, in hindsight, it's just like, oh, so the companion actually was doing jack shit. That's 2 weeks in a row the companion's...
I don't know the companion was doing jack shit. Well, I suppose she did in this one, because all she did was go to Sandeep's apartment and get herself captured.
I mean, and yeah, Jenna Coleman was great in it, but it wasn't Clara.
No.
And Clara
does nothing in this episode. Bonnie does tons.
Problem. Bonnie is good. I like Bonnie. I just am upset that there's no Clara. It's my thing.
Yeah, I can understand that, but I think Jenna Coleman's fantastic acting as Bonnie on two levels makes up for it.
No argument there. And here, there's a little interesting thing I can do here. My usual third-rate Jane Campbell shtick. Zygons are basically mirrors in themselves because they shapeshift into other people. But Clara in this episode, or Bonnie, I should say. Bonnie is imitating Clara, who, in her own competent way, imitates the Doctor, right?
Yeah.
So it's another sort of darkened mirror, a strange little reverse of reverse you've got here, where you've got a mirror of the darkened mirror aspects of Clara in taking initiative and solving the alien threat. And then it goes really dark when she finally gives up the ghost and reveals her ruse and does that amazing turn with her expressionless face and God.
Yeah, that was a great reveal.
So this is a sort of Clara really gone totally to the dark side, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Especially since the Zygons have force lightning, as you said.
Well, I can't apologize for that because they have. It basically is force lightning.
So, Clara didn't do much. Bonnie, great villain. Hope she does a lot more in part 2. But I do also hope that Clara, our Clara, busts out of that pod and does something. Anything. Proactive.
I agree with you. I just want to add a little bit more on Bonnie and as I say, just praise Jenna Coleman for her performance here because this is an episode. This is an episode that benefits hugely from a rewatch.
Yeah. Well,
it also kind of detracts the second time you watch it as well. And here's what I mean. The first time you watch it, you're not really expecting it, so the Bonnie surprise is just that. It's a surprise. It's a good twist. The second time you go back and watch it again, now knowing that she's actually a Zygon, it's super obvious.
Ooh! I just had a thought. I just remembered something. It's Clara related, so I can bring it up here. Okay. So, we haven't talked about this scene yet because in our synopsis, but there's a bit where Zygons take the form of people that the soldiers know and love to try and lower their guard.
Oh my god!
We're going to praise that scene in a bit, I'm sure.
We're going to praise it, and I'm going to damn it a little bit.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. We're gonna get to it, but I just want to point out that it exists. In the moments between when Bonnie and Unit were going down into the things, and when Bonnie revealed herself, I expected a similar twist happening, but instead of like the Unit soldiers or whatever, their loved ones, I was thinking maybe Zygon Danny Pink would show up.
Oh wow! Now that would have been amazing.
Like, holy, can you imagine if that happens?
If that had happened or does happen, then props to the BBC for keeping that secret.
Oh yeah, you just had to like do this ahead of time. Like we would have known in like March. Samuel Anderson's going to be in Doctor Who.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know that Davros was going to be in Doctor Who again.
Oh, okay.
They hit that. Well, no, the Mirror. And I hate the fact I have to give praise to the Mirror, but the Mirror did say that Davros was going to be in it, and as a child as well, so they got it right on both occasions.
What are you doing here, stealing my thing, talking about mirrors?
No. It's the name of a newspaper.
You're off the hook this time.
What do you mean this time? Can we get back on topic, please?
Okay,
The point is, I
Danny
love Bonnie. As much as Clara does nothing in this episode, it's a shame. Bonnie makes up for it for me because, I don't know, I just like the idea of an evil version of the companion. We had it in Centauran Stratagem with the clone Martha Jones.
This was done a lot better than that.
Yeah, this is a better version of that clone, basically.
And hey, technically we had a clone of the companion in Series 7A.
Yeah.
Or 6A. 6A.
Yeah, that was a very well done twist. Amy being flesh the whole time.
Zygon Danny Pink and giving Clara the chance to confront him and like sort of show how much she's grown after her grief over losing him, and to reject that and power through and be proactive and show how much she's become better with traveling and whatnot, and getting over her grief finally and getting her closure. Oh,
that would be amazing,
so
and it's a shame we're probably not going to see it, but
yeah,
that would be amazing. And just briefly to finish off the Bonnie section, it's clever on two levels, because let's say the second time you watch the episode, it's super obvious when she gets switched.
And on the rewatch, you notice that in the shot immediately after the switch, Clara Bonnie puts her hair up.
Yeah, she does. So it's little touches like that make it work.
And on the rewatch, it's like she's deliberately leading Jack into the trap, because on the first watch, you just think, oh, she just happened to notice the Zygons taking the thing down. But then on the rewatch, she's like, oh, let's go back and get my things. Oh, what's this?
Yeah.
Zygons going into the elevator? Why, we should investigate.
Yeah, absolutely. She baits the trap and then she springs it.
Perfect. My God.
Yeah, and the thing I love about Bonnie is that we only knew that she was a Zygon for like 5 minutes. And in those 5 minutes, she shows herself to be utterly ruthless, intelligent, basically all the things you need a good Doctor Who villain to be.
Well, we're gonna talk about villains soonish.
Yeah, we will. But let's move on to another important character. One that we weren't sure was going to be back, but is happily Osgood, played by Ingrid Oliver.
Yay! Alright. Now, there is a very interesting thing that Osgood does in this episode, and it's her speech with the Doctor. Are we going to talk about that, or do you want anything before we get into that? Because that's the main meat of the episode.
We can talk about the speech, but before we get to that, I just want to mention that interesting thing. Sometimes the Doctor Who extra videos are just little extras, and they're kind of fun and interesting, but they're not really needed. This week, they are absolutely needed to watch because Stephen Moffat says something very interesting. He says that when he wrote out Osgood in Death in Heaven, he already knew there were 2 Osgoods.
Well,
he was not killing her off. He was not killing her off. He was killing off an Osgood.
Oh, so did we, to be fair.
And he's been planning the Zygon Invasion, or the storyline for the Zygon Invasion, since Day of the Doctor.
6.
Yeah. So he's had this in his head a long time. The whole thing with 2 Osgoods. So that payoff, that's been, what, 2-3 years now?
2 years.
2 years in the making. 2 full years in the making, so props to Moffat on that one, because it absolutely works. Osgood, again, doesn't get to do a whole lot, but there is a good reason for that, because she is a captive for most of the episode. And we get this really creepy terrorist video, as I mentioned earlier in the synopsis.
Oh.
Yeah, this was uncomfortable to watch, kind of. It was a trailer, so I knew it was coming.
Yeah, but still.
It just looks like an actual hostage terrorism video.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but yeah, it definitely has the undertones.
Well, people on the internet went that far. My God.
Oh, well, we're not talking about that yet, or should I say, we'll get to that.
We're not constrained by that. Oh, whatever. We're still talking about Osgood.
Yeah,
maybe this format needs some thinking out, guys. By the way.
Anyway, Osgood. Anything else to mention before the speech?
Just the fact that I'm glad she's back, and I love the idea that we still don't know.
Well, that's part of the speech.
Yeah, I'm playing you in. Go.
Okay, here we go. So, the big question on everyone's mind ever since we knew that Osgood was coming back was, ooh, is she the human or is she the Zygon? Gee, I wonder who she'll be. I'm sure the episode will tell us, and I'll be right, and I'll be theorizing. And then Osgood just flat out says, no, I'm not answering that question. It doesn't matter. I'm Osgood.
She says she's both. She says she's both human and Zygon.
To which the Doctor replies that she's sort of a hybrid.
Yeah, hybrids get mentioned again.
Okay, they're starting to thread that a bit much, but I think this is all a big misdirection to the real arc of the thing. But we'll find out.
I don't mind it so much because it's a one-off line. It's not like Missy Frank saying in front of the camera going, look at me, I'm a mystery.
Oh, yeah, I can give you that.
It's a verbal thing rather than a physical thing.
It's a Bad Wolf thing.
Yeah.
But I do love that she and, well, the writer and such, flatly just rejects the idea that it matters. Osgood is Osgood. It doesn't matter if she's a human or if she's a Zygon. It doesn't really matter. And pointedly, I'm pretty sure they know because of the inhaler scene in Day of the Doctor. So I'm pretty sure they know which one is which, unless their time together muddled things up considerably.
No, they're the only ones that know.
So they know, but it doesn't matter. Osgood is Osgood. It's like the Doctor's name. The what doesn't matter. It's the name behind it. It's the person behind it that's important. Doesn't matter what Osgood is. Osgood is Osgood.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, I love the ambiguity. I do suspect we may find out next week which one she is.
I don't want that. We're fine like we
possibly
are. Possibly
tied into the resolution of what's in the Osgood box, or what the Osgood box does.
Oh, so what's in the Osgood box is spooky Zygon gas.
We don't know that.
That's my guess.
That's what everyone's expecting.
Well, when has this show really, really surprised you with expectations lately?
Lately you may have a point. I was about to bring up back in Series 5 when Amy was in the Pandora.
Well,
that was a huge surprise.
Should we mention the Zygon gas really quick?
We can, because it's probably going to be very important next week.
I don't know. You can tell the details of what it is.
Yeah, there's this brief mention of a Zygon weaponizing gas called Z67, I believe. Mm-hmm. And something that I'm sure you were happy with, there's a reference to an old Doctor Who companion.
Harry Sullivan.
I don't know who that is, but
he was one of the Fourth Doctor's first companions. Lasted for the first season and departed in Shocker of Shocks, Terror of the Zygons.
Okay. And it absolutely is him, isn't it? I mean, he's not mentioned by name.
No, but there's mention of a unit naval surgeon who worked at Porton Down or something. That is absolutely Harry Sullivan.
I think it just said naval surgeon.
Naval surgeon.
I don't think it even mentioned that he worked for unit, but naval surgeon, and that can only be Harry Sullivan, can it?
Yeah, Harry Sullivan did work for unit. Right. He wasn't.
So he's invented this gas, and it's not.
Well, it's not yet.
It's not quite yet known what it does. Kate says.
I have a theory. What does Kate say? Just so for the record.
It says along the lines of it turns them inside out. It unravels their DNA.
Now, on watch, the natural assumption is that it horribly kills them and makes them explode in the goop, and it's bad and it'll kill everyone, because it's pointedly pointed out later that somebody with a TARDIS took the gas before they being unit could keep it. So the assumption is that the Doctor took it because genocide's bad, right?
But it might be more clever than that. It might be that the Doctor took it.
And pointedly, it could be any Doctor who took it, any between 4 and 12.
It doesn't even have to be the Doctor.
Yeah, because it says somebody with a TARDIS.
It could be a Time Lord or a Time Lady.
It could be Missy.
It could be Missy. I don't think it is, but the possibility is that it might not necessarily be the Doctor. I think it will be, and I think the guess is probably in that box.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Doctor, but if it's Missy, that'd be a surprise. But no, what I think is that rather than kill the Zygons, this gas unravels their DNA, turns them inside out, you said?
That's what she says.
Yeah, I read this series somewhere. That it interrupts their ability to shapeshift and turns them back into their original form.
Yeah, That could possibly work.
Mm-hmm.
And normally I would talk about other memorable supporting characters at this point.
But there are none!
Yeah, we've got a problem. There are none. Even Kate doesn't get a whole lot to do.
Well, I will say that Kate running around the New Mexico town gave me weird vibes to Parasite Eve 2.
How come?
Because Parasite Eve 2 is about a government agent who hunts down monsters, who ends up getting assigned to, like, this desert town to try and find a bunch of monsters to stop them. So Kate in the intro running around this abandoned New Mexico town really just gave me the thing. And they're both blonde, so...
Yeah, fair enough. One thing about Kate, which is kind of interesting and kind of a shame, actually, when we first meet her, she's all about science.
Science?
She's all about science. You know, her father's belief that science should lead from the front. She is supposed to be against violence, except as an absolute last resort, as of course in Day of the Doctor. She's prepared to blow everyone up in the room to save the peace.
There you go.
But here, she's one of the first people to say, we're going to blow up New Mexico. Wait, what? That's not like Kate.
I've got one other thing to mention about Kate, but you go ahead before we're done talking about Kate.
Well, it's not like her character. I mean, okay, maybe her experience and also falling out of a plane and being caught by Cyberman Daddy has changed her. Cyberbreak.
Cyberbreak. Oh, Jesus.
We're calling that in the other review. Oh yeah, you weren't there. You weren't there for that review.
I'm not talking about the name. I'm just talking about the idea in general.
Yeah, that's pretty gonzo.
Yeah.
However, Bone Body was not broken, but we mentioned that when the town came to mention that. So it could be that that's the reason why she's changed her view, but they don't mention that. So it's just kind of a weird, jarring thing. Was like, oh yeah, we're going to blow him up now. Like, what?
Well, Unit, I've seen a lot of Unit 70 stories, so Unit has not been predisposed to blowing everything up, so I guess it doesn't stick in my craw.
You might also notice they've dropped the left bridge from her name.
Well, yeah, kind of.
This is mentioned on the Doctor Who website, the official website. It says that she dropped the left bridge from her name because she didn't want any special favours.
Yeah.
Because she was a left bridge steward.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the main reason. Also, Kate Stewart's quicker to say. That's the real reason, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't call him Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart a lot in the 70s. They just called him Brigadier.
And then, as I say, the other characters are completely unmemorable.
Can I just mention one more
thing
about Kate?
Go on.
Theory time! Kate, at the end of this episode, isn't a Zygon. Because we see Officer Norlandia, whatever.
Norlander.
Officer Norlander turns into a Zygon, raises her hand. We cut to Clara or somebody or whatever. Yeah, cut to Clara in the headquarters, picks up the phone. Then Kate picks up the Zygon phone and says that the unit in the U.S. has been neutralized. Pointedly, we don't see our Kate Stewart get knocked out by Force lightning.
Or killed. She's not going to die.
She's not going to die, but we don't see her get knocked out, so that's my thing.
So it could be that she's impersonating the Zygon, about how she'd be able to operate the Zygon communicator device.
I don't know. Maybe
or it could be that she just got knocked out and the Zygon is impersonating her.
Either way, I think it's a bluff, and well, to answer your question about how she could operate alien technology, she works for UNIT. She should know what an alien.
Oh, wait a minute! No, there's some fridge logic in here. The Doctor with a command computer, and he says Zygon technology you operated by titillating the fronds.
Ahoy!
Did she learn from the Doctor?
Hey, now you're thinking. Great.
Possible.
Look at that.
Possible.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, so Kate does a little bit, but other than that, the other characters, the other supporting characters, are completely unmemorable, especially on the unit side. My God.
Oh boy.
They're either red shirts or one-dimensional.
You got Commander Walsh who did the thing, and then you've got soldiers who didn't really do much of anything other than point guns.
That scene.
And not shoot anyone.
I shouldn't laugh at that scene. It's the bit when he puts the gun down.
Oh.
It's just that, like, I don't think he's a bad actor, that guy. It's just that particular expression just didn't work.
should we talk about that scene though? Because that scene is actually
That's a pretty memorable scene.
That's a really chilling scene.
Oh.
But also, that guy is a moron for not pressing the question.
He is and he isn't, because here's the thing. The fact they all put the guns down, it's not that UNIT are idiots, although some people in UNIT are idiots. It's that if there's any possibility at all that these are not Zygons and they are going to kill their family members, they can't do it. It's the humanity.
I guess.
It's not stupid. That's also why the drone operator can't blow up the Zygons. They're almost certainly impersonating her family rather than actually being her family. She can't do it. So it's humanity, not stupidity. Anyway, carry on.
Well, okay. Well, the scene is still effective, regardless. I love you and I forgive you. Ooh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got to talk about?
It's very, very effective scene, and the fact that the soldiers go to their death is chilling.
Or it could be a crazy bluff, and the soldiers were actually Zygons, and they killed the people.
Well, something is on the ground when Walsh and Doctor go in. As I say, Walsh is completely one-dimensional, although she is played by Rebecca Front, so it's actually a thick-a-bit reunion.
I don't know who Rebecca Front is.
Fair enough. But she's also one of the only UNIT characters that gets out alive.
For now.
But we know she is alive at the end of the episode, or we think she is.
Sergeant Benton, she ain't.
We don't see her. We don't actually see her after she leaves the base.
We may have a special surprise thinking about that.
We might. Jack, who we were introduced to in The Magician's Apprentice, I kind of liked her, but she didn't really do anything before she got killed, unfortunately.
Well, she might not be dead. Hopefully she's not, because there's been some complaints, much like the complaints from Under the Lake, where we had a nice, competent black lady working for UNIT, and we zapped her 2 appearances in.
Oh.
So that's a little problematic.
It's not a race thing.
It's just a little tiny bit, just a little
They
bit.
didn't kill her because she was coloured. Yeah. They killed her because she was UNIT.
Well, that's a whole other can of worms.
I'm not prepared to open here. My point is
we're going to open a bigger can.
My point is there just wasn't enough memorable characters for this to really work. Even the 2 little girls, the Zygon commanders, they could have been interesting if we got to know them more than 2 minutes before they got zapped.
Yeah, and I'm going to have critique about that, because I haven't really launched into my big critique of the episode yet, which we have to do when
we may get to that critique when we talk about the villains for this episode.
Okay, the Zygons.
The Zygons are back.
Oh, boy. Okay,
where to begin with the damn Zygons?
Should I begin with my biggest... Should I just launch into my big critique about the Zygons?
Go for it.
Okay! So, the idea of this episode is that 20 million Zygons have been assimilated onto Earth and are just living in peace, disguised as humans. But we have a couple of radicals who want to... What do they want? Do they want to run around in Zygon form? Do they actually want to take over the world? What the holy Christ do they want?
That's what they actually say. They want the freedom to be who they are.
Okay. So they want to be Zygon form. They want to run around.
That's what
Zygons.
They say, but they could be lying.
Okay, they could be. Anyway, this goal is so important to attain that they're willing to capture other Zygons and kill them, and kill humans as well. Kill everyone involved. Kill. Right?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, in a way, this is kind of like a Silurian story, where if you gave the Silurians shape-shifting powers, because that's what the story is aiming to do. We haven't even said who wrote this yet, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we mentioned it briefly. It's Peter Harness.
The Kill the Moon guy. Which had Kuchiri weeping openly last time at thoughts of giant eggs.
Didn't have me weeping because I wasn't there. I was ill, but...
Oh, yeah, well...
I didn't miss anything, but I was ill.
Anyway. Where was I here? Yeah, so it's kind of like Peter Harness is aiming for sort of a Silurian sort of deal where you've got a whole bunch of aliens who just want to live with humans in peace and they want to have a thing. But then you've got the 1 or 2 bad apples, both on the human side and on the alien side, who say, fuck that, there can be no peace, we have to kill everyone on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So they set this up. All the bad Zygons in this episode are supposed to be like radicals, the slim minority. Here's the problem. We don't see any good Zygons in this episode, other than the two little girls.
No, we don't.
And as you said, they're only there for 2 minutes. Arguably Osgood, but we don't know if Osgood is Zygon. Osgood is Osgood, so it doesn't really count. But other than that, every Zygon we see in this episode is a mustache-twirling fool who wants to kill everyone in sight to attain their goal without any regard for ethics or negotiation or anything. It doesn't work.
No.
And it doesn't work because you don't get to see the other side. And it really doesn't work because Peter Harness, in his infinite wisdom, he did it again. In Kill the Moon, he accidentally a pro-choice debate with the moon egg. In the Zygon Invasion, he accidentally made reference sort of analogy stuff to both the immigrant crisis and ISIS.
I don't think that was unintentional this time.
Okay, it wasn't unintentional, whatever, but he kind of boned it. And I say he kind of boned it because everyone and their mother on the internet is furious about this fact. So I'm coming at it from a different angle, granted, because I don't really know much about the immigrant crisis or ISIS, because I'm sort of politically ignorant. I don't really follow stuff, but I just try to enjoy Doctor Who on its own merits. But I still am upset at it from this angle, because we don't get to see any good Zygons, so the conflict isn't really nuanced. It's all just evil idiots who want to take over the world just because.
Yeah.
And for the people who are politically inclined, it's sending this horrible message that immigrants are actually all evil and they want to zap you, and no way we should live in peace with them. So it really fucks up.
Controversial statement, but I don't think that is entirely fictional in terms of mindset of some people.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
I think there are people out there that do believe that, and newspapers like the Daily Mail make a lot of money out of perpetuating that sort of fear.
So I'm willing to forgive the episode. Well, not so much forgive it, but just sort of hold my breath in condemning it, because this is part 1 of 2.
Yes, it is.
So we might see some good Zygons, some sympathetic Zygons in the second part, or something, anything to give this conflict a little more depth, other than we're going to take over the world.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I mean, it's not, well, I can't say that it's not that they want to take over the world, because the Zygon they have duct taped on the plane says to the Doctor, "You're president of the world." Yes, so we want the world.
Yeah, and then that cheesy laugh.
So, what the fuck are you trying to do here?
I don't know. And I'm hoping it will get tidied up in the next part.
I mean, for God's sakes, the Silurians in the classic series, they negotiated for peace, but got shot down by both unit being assholes who wanted to shoot them up and protect the world, and the couple of bad Silurians who were like, no way, we can't live in peace, this is our planet. And, well, the same sort of thing happened in the Sea Devils, but that was more of an actually story. So what we've got here is a story that's trying to be like the Silurians, or Hungry Earth Cold Blood in its negotiate for peace thing, but ends up being Warriors of the Deep, where the baddies are just baddies just because they're classic Doctor Who monsters, and they all just try to kill everyone.
Oh, Warriors of the Deep, that is so bad. I've seen that now in its entirety. It's so bad.
Oh, God. Well, we're not going to...
We're not, but yeah, I can understand that.
I don't think part 2 is going to have any pantomime horse Zygons.
I hope not. Anyway, I sincerely hope not. Anyway,
what
the Zygons, yeah, I can see where you're coming from with the Zygons. My problem with them is that, for all that they were plastered over this episode, you know, obviously it's the Zygon Invasion, it's the title, they weren't on screen for a whole amount of time, and that goes back to this idea that they've put too many characters in the episode. And there's too many things to focus on, so they don't get focused on enough. And that absolutely goes into the Zygons, because apart from when they were disguised, we saw, what, 4 minutes of Zygons total?
Maybe the next episode will have them all over the place. They get
Quite possibly.
Yeah, but you've got a good point there.
I will say I prefer that they're not quite so hammy this time around.
like I'm saying, the script is trying for nuance, but they end up being just
Zygons have never been my favourite Doctor Who monster, but they were taking a step to improvement in this episode.
I mean, they haven't really been enough Doctor Who to do much. Like, the best Zygon story I can think of are the Zygon stories from the Eighth Doctor series.
Yeah.
Where you've got a sympathetic Zygon who doesn't want to take over the world or nothing. He just wants to live in peace among humans. And he ends up doing it for a time, but then the bad Zygons who are after him and want to take over the world screw everything up for that.
Yeah. And at this point, I should mention, it wasn't just you and I that had some issues with the Zygons.
Mm-hmm.
Kat also had some issues with the Zygons. She couldn't make the review today, unfortunately, but she did send through her thoughts and a theory. A rather interesting
very interesting theory that I hope pays off, because it's quite clever.
Yeah. So, without further ado, take it away, Kat.
Okay, so, Rainiac, I better have that aliens dude with the crazy hair up right now, because this is my conspiracy theory. This is all based on one fact, and I confirmed this with both Rainiac and Frezno, and they both figured out that this is this is right. Osgood is the only person in the entire episode who says that the Zygons have this new power of being able to go into somebody's mind and either become them or become someone from their mind. Now, this has its issues already. First off, we have, Clara and the other tenants in pods under the apartment building. If they don't need the hosts anymore, then why are they keeping them alive? It's one of those things where it's like, you really start to think about it as soon as the episode is over. It's fridge logic, pretty much. But then I thought a little bit more about it. What if Osgood was lying? And there are reasons for her to lie as well. She's, the piece. She's one half of the piece. Her sister, as she puts it, is dead. In order to help keep that peace, she's making sure that nobody knows who's alive, the Zygon Osgood or the human Osgood. And by doing this, she can essentially be like, I'm both. I'm both the Zygon and the human. The piece is still alive. This is supported by the fact that when the Doctor mentions that he thinks she's the human Osgood, or that he knows she's the human Osgood, she gets this look on her face like she hadn't expected him to, figure it out. So, we have the potential of Osgood lying about a big part of this episode, which would mean that there is a lot of this episode that could be seen as a big conspiracy, that the invasion runs a little deeper than we actually thought before, and that this opens up just a huge possibility. First off, this could mean that there was a reason behind the Doctor going to Turkmenistan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But this also means that there's a lot more that could have happened from this. So, Commander Walsh. Let's talk about her for a bit. What if she was a Zygon? And one of the evil Zygons, too. I don't know, how the Doctor can tell who's a Zygon or not, but let's say she managed to sort of evade his ideas. Or maybe he knew and thought she was one of the good ones. I don't know. But she would know who is going where and who to use against them. As exampled by that guy whose mother, in big quotation marks, came out and encouraged them all to go into the church. Brilliant acting on that woman's part, by the way. She would know who is performing the airstrike, so she could have them go to the correct coordinates, see that their, I'm assuming, husband and son are there, and get her to abort the whole thing, making the Doctor a little bit intrigued about what's going on. And it would explain why, right after she left, almost right after, just before the Doctor met Osgood, or maybe just a little bit after, the airstrike started. Even the Doctor remarked, that's not 10 minutes. That's a little bit, weird that it would just happen with her there. Even if she was man the battleships and, I'll go down with my crew, there's still the fact that they would try to at least give her a chance, especially since there didn't seem to be any sort of problems there. Now, this could also mean that the Zygon that gets knocked out and then captured by the Doctor and Osgood was planted, which means that, well, I'm not quite sure what that means, but it would explain why it knew that the plane wasn't going to land, that the whole thing was going to happen. I mean, maybe obviously it did hear Osgood's explanation. I believe it was in the same room. If it's not, please correct me. But more than likely it heard Osgood's explanation, or Osgood explained it to them, and they decided to use it, knowing that she would tell the Doctor the same thing, and other people the same thing. But if it knew that, and it didn't know that the plane would never reach the ground, that must mean that it knew in advance what was going to happen. That means that they knew the Doctor was going to survive the airstrike, get on the plane, with Osgood at that, and he would pretty much be vulnerable because he doesn't have his TARDIS. He only has, his wits and an airplane with a Zygon on it, and Osgood and a couple of soldiers who, I don't know, maybe they're also evil, maybe they're not, I don't know. But some of you may be saying, oh, but, Claragon, she tried to get the unit soldiers to kill the humans. And the fact remains that she is trying to lure them into a trap, right? So, if they did kill the humans, let's say that they were convinced they didn't see Clara in time or something, and they did kill the humans. Well, the Zygons have still taken over the roles of who knows how many people. Their hosts would die, they return back into Zygons. That still fits with what they want. They want to be their true selves. They want to, tell people who they are, live proudly, at the expense of who knows how many people. That fits into their whole thing. Plus, that way they get rid of a whole bunch of humans. But Claragon does show them the human Clara. By doing so, she ensured that the unit people would absolutely figure out what was going on, who was in the pod, and figure out it was a trap, but by then it was a little too late. The whole thing was carefully orchestrated in order to lead to this whole idea. And it also had the benefit of not killing everybody inside of the pods, which I'm sure that they want to keep them alive because they have to have their hosts. Now, the other thing that Osgood lying that's major, in my opinion, is the fact that they did use this idea in some way. Clara gone, when she talks to the Doctor, she says to him that Clara is dead, which she most certainly isn't. She's just trapped in a pod. So, by doing this, they're essentially making sure that the Doctor doesn't go and look for the people at all. Because what would be the point of looking for dead people? He would just presume that they were all dead, and that the Zygons have been slowly winning this entire time. Which helps out with them because that means that their hosts aren't, free. They can go on being, Zygon people, and they don't have to worry about a whole bunch more humans that are running around. Now, whether or not Peter actually uses what I'm saying now, that's still up for grabs. We have until the end of the week to, wait and figure out what in the world is going on. I will say I will be very disappointed if it doesn't turn out to be this whole big thing. Because that would be amazing, for more than one reason, obviously. But it would be just such a cool idea to have a huge conspiracy going on behind the scenes. So, here's hoping he doesn't mess it up like he did with Kill the Moon. Fuck the giant egg. Back to you, Rainiac.
Well said, Kat. I say a remark that totally wasn't added in post at all.
Stop giving the game away. Stop giving away my trade secrets.
Shit, okay.
And the other thing we need to talk about, and I mean, we touched on it in the synopsis, is that great ending.
Ooh. I'm sorry. Clara's dead.
Kate Stewart's dead. All the unit troops are dead. Truth or consequences? Bang!
So, you want my prediction for how the Doctor's going to get out of this cliffhanger?
This ties into the janky editing, but hit it.
Okay. So, my prediction The Doctor hears this truth or consequences stuff, looks out the window, sees a guided missile coming right at him, and throws on his sunglasses, looks at it, and blows it up in the air.
Yeah, and I think that will take place. I believe that you're right, and I think that will take place very, very quickly, and it just sort of be glossed over because we don't actually see it hit the plane.
Oh, it won't be glossed over as such. You're forgetting one important bit.
It will be like the cliffhanger to the Stolen Earth being resolved in Journey's End, where it's like this big dramatic thing, and then it's over in a couple of seconds.
No, not even that. You're forgetting one important part of the cliffhanger. Kuchiri weeping about the sunglasses.
Yes.
If there's a better way to resolve that cliffhanger, I'm all for it. Like, say the plane does go down, but the Doctor survives. That could work. But then again, then your Zygon friend would be free and whatnot. And
well, they've got faith in this cliffhanger to the point they didn't actually show a next time trailer.
Or maybe the next time would give away too much because, well, I do know the title of the next episode, which gives me faith.
Yeah, well, they did that with Dark Water. They didn't show a next time trailer then. They didn't show a next time trailer with the Pandorica opens. So the big climactic scenes, and obviously that doesn't go. This one doesn't go anywhere near like Pandorica opens or Dark Water. But the big climactic cliffhanger scenes, they don't want to show you what happens next.
Yeah,
and I can understand that.
Yeah.
I believe there's a BBC trailer, but I refuse to watch it because it probably give away too much.
I'm not going to watch any trailers either. I'm going to go in kind of blindish.
If they tell me, right, we don't want you to know what happens next because we're not putting a next time trailer, I'm not going to go out my way to try and spoil it by looking at another trailer.
There you go.
So let's wrap this up then, shall we? What did we think overall of the episode?
I mean, it's got a good setup. This is in a way, I think this is a reverse of Under the Lake and Before the Flood.
Yeah.
We have an episode that kind of... Parts of it have disappointed me because it isn't living up to the potential of the episode, but I think there is still potential, given the title and everything, for the episode to turn things around and make it a really good, solid two-parter, given the thing. Of course, there are a lot of people who don't want to forgive it because of the casual racism involved with all Zygons are evil, don't trust them.
Oh, please. Look, this one may be a very popular person, but fiction is allowed to use politics.
It's not that it's not... I don't think the objection to them... And I'm devil's advocating here. I don't really believe this. I'm not caring much politically. It's more of the storyline stuff to me. The fact that it's not so much the fact that they put fiction in politics, it's that they put this prejudiced view, this Daily Mail view into Doctor Who.
Good callback. Good callback.
Thank you. But yeah, if they manage to put some sympathetic Zygons who help the Doctor and what's left a unit out to stop this Zygon thing and deal with things, like, I mean, they did have it in the opening, the callback, where the two little girl Zygons said, "No, this is our problem, Doctor. You know it's out of our business." If they relent and say, "Okay, Doctor, Doctor Unit, we need your help. This is our planet. We need to stop these people from ruining it for everybody. Let's work together." If we get something like that, that'll satisfy me, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to reserve judgment on this one.
Yes, that's fair.
Because I think it's going to depend on how the second part plays out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a cop-out, but I did say this was going to be hard to review, and I wasn't kidding.
It is. It was really hard for me to write
I love the concept of Bonnie. I think Jenna Coleman's acting was absolutely stunning, the best we've seen all series from her. But I can't really judge it because it's half of a piece of a puzzle.
Yeah, here's the thing. I see this episode is a lot like Kill the Moon, in my opinion, because the parts that are good are really, really good. And the parts that are not so good have the majority of the fan base frothing at the mouth.
Yeah.
Peter Harness can't hit, like, okay. He either hits really phenomenally, spectacularly good, or a disaster that everyone hates.
Yeah, he's a divisive writer. But we'll see if everyone still hates him next week when we have the Zygon Invasion.
Now, that title does make me think two things. One, the plot is going to get shifted on its head, and we're going to learn some new stuff about the Zygon splinter groups. And two, that theory about the Zygon gas looking kind of plausible.
And to me, it brings up memories of the 60s Batman TV series.
Oh, Jesus.
When they have those stupid two-part titles where it's like, I don't know, the penguin gets the it rhymed. Or it linked in, and it kind of reminds me of that. Although it was much better when it was much worse when it was Invasion of the Zygons, Inversion of the Zygons. It doesn't quite give that vibe anymore. But yeah, I don't know what to expect.
Well, those titles give off more of a classic.
Just one thing I will ask of Moffat and Harness: can we please have a Clara versus Bonnie confrontation? And I'll be a happy camper.
Well, I'll be a happy camper if Clara gets out of that pod. So
and if that turns into a full-on fight, I'll be a very happy camper, but I don't expect that to happen.
Okay, you're thinking more of the enemy of the world here now.
It would be cool, though, be honest.
Bonnie gets vented out into the vortex.
No. On that note, I think we've said enough, so join us next time when we discuss the Zygon Invasion. Until then, thanks to my guest FreezingInferno for being with me.
I was actually a Zygon the entire time. Kill the traitor.
Oh, no. And if I'm not dead, I will see you next week. Bye now.